Welcome to the Utah Football Fans Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, go Utes.
First, Bet Online. It's the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on their 200 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200K. That's $200,000.
I could use that right about
Yeah,
now.
no kidding. When the game's over, head on over to their online casino and get in on the game of blackjack or poker and unwind with one of their over 150 slot games. Head to the website, their website, to get in on the action. It's Bet Online. The game starts here. Well, Utah, let's talk SUU Thursday night. First of all, what a beautiful evening. I mean,
you couldn't draw it up.
It was like perfect weather for a football game. I guess it could be maybe 10 degrees.
No,
cooler.
It was perfect.
I mean, it was fantastic, and it was so good to be back in Rice Eccles, to be with the fans, be with the team. Yeah, it was good. But what's your first impressions? What's your overall impression?
I mean, it's
Now
hard.
that you've had a chance.
I'll say this, and this goes for not just Utah. There's a lot of teams that this falls under. It is so hard to gauge just because the level of competition wasn't there. Utah looked really, really, really good in areas, but it's like, okay, but they're playing SUU. It's an inferior team by a wide margin. There were a lot of things that made me excited, but I still have a decent amount of question marks personally. But like you said, it was great to be in the stadium. They did exactly what I expected them to do. Rising was out. He actually was out a series before halftime, but halftime, he's out. You get the 2s and 3s, some experience, and you take care of business, blow them out, and move on to the next game. That's kind of what I saw. I do have some questions, but dang, it was good to see him back. Great to see Rising, obviously. He looked phenomenal. Defense, I think that defense is going to be ridiculously good. Again, though, it's hard. You're looking at him playing against SUU, so you don't really know.
Okay.
But
Yeah, it was SUU. No disrespect, but they're out of, it's the competition level. Everybody knows it.
everyone knows it.
However, Utah should blow them out.
Mhm.
And they did. So a team like Utah, all the accolades, all the forecasts for this year, it should have happened, and it happened.
They did exactly
told
what they
you.
should have.
I told you it was going to happen. You were soft on it last week. Look it up.
Okay, look it up. I was not soft
Yeah.
on what?
On the score, you didn't think it'd be such a blowout.
You're talking about somebody else. Did you do a different podcast? I literally said Rising would be out at halftime, which hence is
It can be
a
verified.
blowout. Okay, look it up. You're out of your freaking mind, dude.
Anyway, it's
Dude.
that part of me is good. I mean, we took him out like we should have done.
Yeah.
And it was nice to have Cam Rising and Brant Keithy back on the field, number one. And then to just to see how they would play, how they would react. I mean, they had some serious injuries, obviously. Kept them out a whole year. And now here's the first game back, where they're going to be jitters. How would they respond? So in that regard, I feel good about it. I mean, with Cam, he got hit a couple of times. That's always a little bit worrisome.
Yeah,
But for
I didn't
me,
love that.
I felt like early on, I don't know. I felt like he didn't seem as mobile to me at times, just watching him and, his movement and stuff like that. And I could be reading stuff in there. I don't know. But certainly as the half went along, he seemed to be pretty mobile. But considering it was their first game back, all the jitters, all the expectations, all of that kind of stuff. Freak, man. He did well. Keithy,
Well,
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 50% of Rising's
Excellent.
completions were touchdowns. He went 10 of 15 for 5 touchdowns. Come on, that's pretty freaking good. So I'm with you. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but when I'm watching him, you're kind of going that the running doesn't quite look the same. But again, it was his first game in 606 days. So yeah, there's going to be some rust. There's going to be a little bit of that, getting back into game shape that's going to take place. And I think there's going to be a pretty significant jump between game 1 and game 2, personally. So Keith, you looked great. Obviously, freaking Stanley. And the run game in general, I was actually pretty pleased with. It was very well distributed. No one went off, but we ended up with, I think, 185 yards rushing in the game. But there was, we didn't have one guy that had, 140 yards. It was, we had 6 guys that had 30 yards or whatever it was. So I did like that as well. But yeah, again, it was great just to have those guys back, just, have them on the field, see them healthy, efficient, get out of the game. That's it.
If you heard Witt's press conference today, they asked him about Dijon Stanley and now if they're going to do more plays. And he said no. He has a batch of plays that they're going to run with him. They might add some to it. So that's the plan. But you've got Bernard, Glover, Mitchell, Stanley, and some other guys. I don't know. I thought it was good for what it was. I mean,
the only thing is it was a little bit surprising. I don't know. The receivers didn't get super involved, but they didn't have a ton of opportunities. 2 of our series went for touchdowns like that. So it's not like they had these long sustained drives, but there were a couple of catches from our receivers that you went, okay, look pretty good.
I think I haven't gone back and watched it, but it felt like to me on the very first throw, I think he was throwing it to Singer right up the middle, but
it was a touchdown.
Rising got hit. The guy got through. If that guy doesn't get through, that's a touchdown.
Yeah.
The dude was open.
Yeah,
he was gone.
It was just short of him, but it was right up the seam. If he has a half a second
just
longer,
to be able to extend the throw.
That was one area that I'm a little worried about. It just was kind of surprising. SUU was able to get pressure a couple of times. It kind of surprised me. I mean, I'm not an offensive line guru like the coach that sits behind us is, and I wish he could have joined us tonight, and I could have asked him, Coach, what's your thoughts? But they were able to get pressure, and Cam took a couple more hits than I would have liked. Because that exact play. I mean, Singer's wide open, and he's gone. But hey, we ended up scoring 3 plays later, so big deal. But hey, Utah football's back. I love it. It's wonderful.
I don't know, man. I think our offense, the potential is there. I guess. What do you say about the defense? I mean, I'm not going to. They pitched a shutout. They did what they were supposed to do. Did SUU get over midfield? If they did, it wasn't.
I know for just the one for the missed field goal attempt in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But before that, I don't know.
If they didn't feel like they were even in the red zone ever.
No, they weren't in the red zone, and rightfully so. I mean, it's just completely outmatched. They had that one receiver that was pretty good, number 5, I think it was.
I don't know.
Anyway, he had some catches that were like, oh, but other than that, yeah,
the D was solid. They just dominated and as expected, but they did it. That's the point for me, is that they actually did it. Because I do remember the days when Utah was highly ranked or highly respected for an upcoming season. They had the teams like this. They'd go out and they really didn't perform that great. They won by 30 points or something. And you're going, come on, this should be a 50-0.
Right.
This is what happened, as they should.
Yeah. Well, you look around at college football this weekend.
Yeah.
How many other teams were there that were playing teams like SUU that struggled and won by 2 points or 14 points? I mean, Utah took care of business, came out, did what they were supposed to. Now we move on to a much better test that will really, I think, show, okay, where are we in Baylor?
But let me go here first. The downside is that Johnson, our corner Johnson, is out for the season.
Yep.
I don't think he actually mentioned what it was today on press conference with Witt, but it was his knee.
It's his knee.
And
which was so weird because it was right in front of us. It was a play on the
I didn't see it. I just
other side of the field.
it's a non-contact.
It was a non-contact. All of a sudden, you look over and he's on the ground holding his leg. It was awful.
I mean, he can't. He's a senior, but he could get a medical red shirt apparently if he desires to go through the process and do it.
Sucks though.
But here's the thing that worries me a little bit is in talking wit, they're gonna have to shift some pieces around now for the secondary, though. Cam Calhoun, who was a transfer to Utah from Michigan. He was with us in spring, but apparently he had some sort of injury. I think during the summer.
Is that what it was?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
But he's back and he's expected to play.
He's a 4-star, went to Michigan.
So that's honestly, that is fantastic.
It's huge
to hear. But the idea, Witt said, so they asked him, so what is the lineup in the secondary? And he says they don't know yet. They're still working that out. And that does worry me with the upcoming game, which we'll get to in a second. But that's sort of the situation.
Yeah.
Now, Aliki, is it Vahami?
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Anyway, he got hurt. It looked apparently like he may be out for the year, but he's not. He'll play again.
Because after the game, Whittingham kind of mentioned neither one of those injuries looked good, is what he said.
Yeah.
Which, coach speak, that's usually out for the year, which it was on Johnson, but that's really good.
It's good news.
And it sucks. I mean, the one of our position groups, corner, is one of the areas that I kind of we were light on. Getting Calhoun back in the lineup, though, that's going to be big. I didn't know that he was going to be back. So
he's back.
That's good.
Davis, though, he's the guy that had the pick.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good game.
He did have a good game.
So we'll see, but
he was great. They interviewed him on ESPN 700 after the game. He was great. He's just good personality. He was fun to listen to. If you can go back and listen to that,
I have to do it.
He was good.
The thing is, though, with Vahami, I hope I'm saying that right, man. But anyway,
we hope. Sorry, we're not.
Yeah. Peppa was injured. He wasn't playing. He'll be back this week, so that's good. And then there's another guy at tackle. I forgot his name off. But he's good too. He may not be back this week. The bottom line is that our D line is a lot of depth.
D line
that's cool.
The depth is crazy. And another guy was great. Van Fellinger, he was back.
He's an animal. He looked good.
I tweeted this out. The man looks like he was built in a lab. Honestly, when you go on to your college football 25 and you're creating a player,
Marcus creates that guy.
Yeah, Marcus is going, okay, I'm going to take a DN and I'm going to make him this. It comes out as Van Fillinger. The guy is unbelievable. And he just wreaks havoc. So if he can stay healthy, he can stay healthy. But you're right. The defensive line depth in general is going to be scary.
So, okay. You know what? I'm not sure what more you say about that game. We did.
You move on.
Unfortunately, we had an injury that was absolute bummer. Unfortunate. But, let me ask this, though. Let me ask this. I'm interested in your opinion and maybe in the chat what people think. Your thoughts of Wilson and what he did, because I'll just preface it this way. I mean, he got trashed by some people.
Well, they're stupid,
and some guys behind me were yelling.
Yeah, I know,
and stuff like that. And I'm just so. What do your just thoughts?
I put absolutely zero stock into it whatsoever. The kid is 3 months out of playing high school ball. 3 months ago, he was throwing passes against Skyline High School. Look, I get it, Southern Utah, but they're still college athletes against a college coaching staff. He kind of gets thrown into it. I think his ceiling is still really high. There were glimpses that he can throw a ball really, really, really well. It's just catching that mental side up to the game that goes, oh, I can't make that play. Against Skyline High School, yeah, I can make that play. Against college athletes, can't make that play. And it's just getting there. I don't care that his first throw in the history of his college career is a freaking interception. Couldn't care less, because I think he's going to do really good things. And you can see it. You can see it.
Yeah, I didn't have a cow over it at all. I thought he did fine considering he was thrown into a tough situation. What it happened, what happened. So what? Good experience. It had no impact on the game.
Yeah.
The kid's going to learn. Excellent. And then he came out. He threw another pick.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually made some really good throws.
On his touchdown pass, Ute fan Ivan, by the way, good to see you, my friend. If you don't follow Ute fan Ivan, makes tremendous hype videos. Go follow that boy.
Yeah, that TD throw to how do we say the guy's name? Loner? Laner?
I don't know. The transfer, the basketball player transfer that came in.
And
it was great.
Great throw, great catch, though he did drop a touchdown right in front of us. All I'm going to say about Wilson is for his first game, I'm fine. I think you can see it there, but you got to get experience somewhere. And I think it was 37 snaps, I think Witt said. I believe that's what he said.
I love it.
Which is fantastic.
I love it.
So all snaps, good for me.
He led 2 touchdown drives. One he threw, one was a run-in. Yeah, he threw 2 picks, but he's going to learn from that. And now he's got film of himself that they can go in and diagnose. That's what I love. It's one thing when it's film of Cam Rising, you can sit and watch. Now they've got film of him that they can go in and go, okay, here's what you're looking at. It's great. And hey, will we see him again maybe this weekend?
No.